Okay, I think our clock is showing 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to go ahead and call our ITEP meeting to order. Mr. Norton,
Yes, sir.
if you don't mind, would you do the prayer for us?
Yes, sir.
Scott, would you do the pledge of allegiance?
Bow your heads, please. Father God, we thank you so much for this day. We ask that you would go with this committee, give them the wisdom and the strength they need to make decisions for this parish. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our very first ITEP meeting, and I'm pretty sure everybody looked over. ITEP stands for Industrial Tax Exemption Program, Department of Energy. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to guest or public comments. Any comments from the guests on the floor?
We're here to answer questions and to talk about the project.
Okay.
And I would just say, as part of the public comments before they get started, this is the first one, being the designated point of contact, whatever response is, we need to get a signed resolution, and so I can upload it to Louisiana Economic Development today or tomorrow and notify them proper. This is a new process, you know, obviously y'all got to elect a chairman and vice chairman. Other than that, I did prepare some new spreadsheets, and I sent it over to Jesse and his group. So if there are any questions about those numbers, how I came up with them, I'm prepared to answer that as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we don't need to do the vote on anything right now? We're good?
No, you're just,
Okay.
this is just public comment section.
All right. So my name is Jesse Broderick with Summit Credits. We're a firm that assists companies with the various Louisiana incentive programs around the state. We've been working with International Paper for a number of years now, specifically their corporate tax department. And as part of our job with the property taxes for all mills throughout the state, we just assist with applying for any programs that are available, with the industrial tax exemption being one of those programs. As you've been made aware, the rules have changed numerous times over the various years, and they recently just changed again under Governor Landry's tutelage. And so we submitted these applications for a couple of reasons. One is under the old rules, and as you know, we've come to you before for projects that were already complete, asking for an exemption. So one, we wanted to get these in ahead of time, and because the new rules require that in order to apply for the exemption, you have to apply ahead of time. There will no longer be the ability for companies to apply for an exemption after they've already made an investment. That is no longer an option going forward. So you know, just because of the timing of how the rules were before and how they are now, I know that we've been before you quite a bit over the last few months. But anyway, working with International Paper, we looked at potential projects that they are looking at doing at the site, and we applied for an exemption. The reason that there are two applications is because the state requires that we split them up if there's going to be any part of the application that is a modernization or replacement. And we are only allowed to apply for that if that project over a 2.5, 3 year period is 50 million or more. And so that is the case, and that's why there's two separate applications. One for 62 million, I believe, 64 million. That is for some replacements and to modernize some of the portions of the plant. The other application is for upgrades and new investment, 147 million. And that is being done separately. But that's why there's two applications, is to designate those because they're dealt with differently at the state level. Otherwise, it would have all been part of one big application. We submitted these in July, and you know, being a new process, I was not aware, and you know, we could have been better, should have been better. I was not aware that once LED reviewed them, it immediately went to the locals. We thought we were going to have some time to come and talk to you guys and talk about it. We did not know that it was immediately. Plus, usually we get emails from LED saying, hey, we've notified the locals. In this instance, they did not let us know that. So I want to apologize to you for not coming ahead of time and knowing I was not notified, but we are here now. This is important. This is investment that has not been made at the plant. It's projected future investment, and we are coming to you to ask for your approval to be able to go forward with the state and get an exemption of 80%. The numbers before you here today that Michael and I worked on, those numbers represent, if you were to approve the exemption, the $543 million is the amount you would get. That's the 20%, okay? So, and that's the amount that you would get each year for the next 10 years, and then it would roll off the rolls and be taxable at 100%.
Are we looking at the first page?
Yes, sir, the very first page. So if you look at 2026,
Right, okay.
the first contract, the 161,000, that represents the modernization and replacement items. The second line is the 381,000, that would be the new improved upgrade project. And so at even being exempt at 80%, these two together, the parish would get $543,000. If the exemption is not approved, then the property taxes would be about 2.7 million between the two contracts. Now, all of this investment is not going to happen in 26, so please understand that, you know, part of it would come online in 26, part of it in 27. It'll be split between the 2 years, but you know, we don't know if they're going to move forward, when they're going to move forward. I mean, these are all proposed projects, and so we just put them all in 1 year just for information purposes. But yeah, so it would be about 2.7 million if all projects included in these applications move forward. That's what the property taxes would be. Scott, did you want to add some comments?
Yeah, Scott Lonadier. I'm the mill manager at Mansfield Mill now. Came up in November of last year from was at the Red River Mill down in Campty before that, and you know, since that mill is closed, as I'm sure you're all aware. But kind of to Jesse's point, these projects that we're talking about are really critical infrastructure renewals for the mill to help our viability, you know, going forward in the years ahead, and things around our wood yard, the incoming water line, control systems that run our plant, and one of our boilers that we used to really sustain the operation and generate electricity in the mill. So it's critical to us to be able to make these investments and to be able to do it in a way that really helps our financial viability, right? And if we compare, we're part of an international company, literally, right? And we have to compare costs to all of our sites globally, and you know, if we look at tax burden per operating unit of our Pierce mills, the top 3 mills globally tax burden are in Louisiana on a per unit basis. So, you know, if you think of the heart of this program, and really what it's about, it's about allowing business to, you know, to compete, because we manufacture products here that are literally sold worldwide, you know, from DeSoto Parish, right? So, and adjoining parishes as well, the raw materials. So, essentially, that's why we're here. We must remain competitive. You know, of those 3 mills I mentioned, one's closed, right? And our neighbor parish to the south, my home parish, is right now their tax return from that location is 0, right? And so we absolutely don't want that to happen here. We need Mansfield to be very vital, and growing into the future. So that's essentially why we're here. Any questions we can answer for you all about the nature of the projects, we're happy to do that. And Not sure what else to add, but that's kind of succinctly why we're here. We're here to do everything we can to give both of us a chance to succeed together for a very, very long time.
Have any questions?
I don't think I have any questions, really, and I appreciate the opportunity. I spoke with, I think, everybody in here on Friday. I thought it was a productive conversation and helped shed some light on some of my reservations, at least from the school district's perspective. And obviously, I know we're one of three entities, but I'll just reiterate a few things that I shared privately that I feel like maybe are important as we vote on this particular matter. But we and I value the presence of international paper on many different fronts, specifically of the tax revenue that mill and its standing or stature in this parish has, and value the presence from an economical driver, a jobs driver, and the impact that it can have on our communities and likewise on our kids and their ability to succeed. And so look forward to expanding that opportunity. And but I just shared with the gentleman the other day the importance I feel of coming together a time or two a year, even if it's just one time a year. And we all have a planning process. And I know we have a 5-year facility plan, and then we extend well beyond that in the school system. I'm sure you have something much more intricate than that even, that we know what our plans are well in advance and how much money it's going to take to do that, and if there are any plans for an ITEP application, to let that be known then, to say, hey guys, like we're gonna ask for some help next year or the following year, and to create a long-term vision for sustainability and viability in this parish. And I understand that that things can change and markets vary, and I'm not sure how long Red River Mill was on the chopping block, or that might not be the best way to say it, but or where Mansfield fits into those things. But I feel like if we are all under a long-term planning process and understand, and we can do our part. But as I mentioned, we're looking at, we have our 10-year tax renewals from the school district coming up in November that are extremely important to the viability, sustainability of our school system. Like, we cease to exist as we know it, period, if those taxes are not renewed. And so in previous elections and bond issues and things of that nature, it was mentioned more than one time that I guess used against us, and whether we had approved an ITEP or a pilot, that that we were placing all of the burden of operating and expanding opportunities for our school system on the individual taxpayer, when I obviously know that's not fully accurate, but that's a perception of many. And so timing is everything, and we all share some responsibility in creating trust in our community. And I think anytime we can do things well in advance, it helps us to build that trust, to continue to keep that in. And I understand, and I don't disagree. I'm not saying that these projects aren't important. And Mr. Lonadier, you mentioned that these being critical to the viability and the future of the mill, and I don't disagree with you. I just would say if they are that important, then it's worth us having long-term conversations. If our ability is to help and or hinder, right? If we had no say in it, then you could do whatever you wanted to do and never talk to us. But a phone call a couple days in advance, it doesn't constitute the type of relationship I think we want. And I'm trusting that your comments to me last week and moving forward, we're going to work on that. The question I had, one problem maybe before I ask a question, it's making sure that we provide updated, accurate numbers before we sit here, and well in advance of that, so we actually know what we're talking about from a numbers perspective, and helping us help educate our constituents. So there is no issue that that says, like, to your point, Mr. Lonadier, like nobody's getting a dime, or I mean they're getting some property tax out of that mill, but it's probably a smidget of what it was. I mean, it's now, maybe it's constituted as farmland or something, but it's not rolling in millions of dollars as it was. And so the numbers matter, and trying to get that well in advance is important, so that we can, balance those with what we show. Sometimes everybody has a different number until you come together and say, oh, this is where we got this from, right? And making sure we do that. And then the last thing is, I mentioned, I think I asked about it on the call, so timing. Is this the one and only opportunity for this particular application? And if it doesn't pass, then it's dead, there's no bringing it back or no delay?
So, good question, because I did go to LED and ask them if there was any way for us to delay this process or to slow this application process down, and I was told that we can't at this point. The 45 days for these two applications has started. The only thing that, now let me just finish the thought and then I'll come back with another option. Regardless of the vote that you take here, it does go before the Board of Commerce and Industry, and then they can decide if they want to ratify the local vote or take their own action. Being that this is, new process, I have no idea what the board's going to do. We really don't know. But that's, ultimately the board and the governor have the final say. Now, options for coming back after November. Any projects that started or that happen between now and November, nothing we can do. We could reapply in January or even December for any of the projects included in these applications that haven't started. So we'd have to work with them and work on that, and that's something that, we'll do whatever we're asked to do. So there is that potential, and I don't know if, maybe they only spend, 10% of this between now and December, and the other 90% we can come back in November and ask for, and we will do that. So want to just be aware that that is an option.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and once again, looking forward to this maybe, and for those reasons that I mentioned, I'm going to be voting no today. That doesn't mean I don't know what the other two will do, but if this doesn't go in the direction that you would hope, obviously I would hope that that's not a slam door or any reflection on our desire to move forward in a positive manner. So would certainly hope that the door would be open for future conversations. Thank you. I started to say Mr. Chairperson, but he's not yet, right?
Have to elect it.
I know I've got one vote in my pocket on that.
Scott, you have anything?
I'll let you finish.
Okay, I just want one question. Are any of the improvements that you're making to the plant have anything to do with the environmental, more protection of the environmental?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, for example, the water line repair, I mean, that's, you don't necessarily, we're responsible for that water as soon as we pull it from Toledo Bend, right? So that
Right.
any water that comes out of that line is an environmental emission that we haven't treated. So that's one example. Some of the projects around energy efficiency and things of that nature, fuel use, that sort of thing. So those are probably the key ones. The reliability of our wood yard, that would allow us to use more wood, which allows us to use more biomass derived fuel, bark, basically, to burn, our boilers and things of that nature. So, yeah, absolutely. There are, as a company, we have a sustainability type initiatives around water use and fuel use, particularly fossil fuels. So we're always working to do what we can to reduce our consumption of those.
What about the air?
Air emissions as far as, I don't think any of these in particular are, other than, I guess, in a literal sense, the pulping unit control system upgrade, that's the computer system that runs that department. So it should allow us to be more reliable, which over time would have lowered emissions and that sort of thing to the atmosphere. Yeah.
I know sometimes, you know, especially on foggy days, for 30 years I worked at Dollar Hills Power Plant for Clico. And man, we could smell the pine scented or whatever coming from the plant on a
Right.
foggy day or rainy day or something like that. And I don't know how harmful that was to
Yeah,
the environment.
it's difficult because typically when you have those type of atmospheric conditions,
Right,
you know, the
everything
gases
stacks down.
They stay lower, exactly. So that's, you know, when it's a humid or a kind of a cool day,
Right.
you would have more smell. But I think the key is that obviously we're within our permits and things, but you know, particularly with sulfur compounds, you can really detect them at a pretty low level. You know, and some folks, including myself, are very, very sensitive to them. You know, and but those atmospheric conditions really don't help us any. You know.
Right, okay.
Rotten egg smells like money. Is what I grew up about an hour from DeRitter.
Okay.
And so, you know, back in the day, DeRitter paper mill, there was the rotten egg smell. You know, that was-
Yeah, that's the sulfur, unfortunately, and that's it, and that is a critical part of the process. That honestly, it is really kind of the ingredient that makes it viable. So.
You have questions?
I don't, Mr. Corley kind of covered
Okay.
what the sheriff had already wanted to ask, talk about.
You guys have anything else you want to present to us?
No, just thank you for your time, and you know I've shared with Clay last week. You know, I'm a native of Natchitoches. I grew up in this area, and you know, some of my last memories of Mansfield were junior high football, eating a sandwich before we got on the school bus to go back to Natchitoches, and we're very happy to be here. We're very proud to be here, and you know, really just looking forward to the future together. And wherever this discussion takes us, it takes us, but there will be another one at some point in the future. And we can be assured of that, right? So we're here for the long haul. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you guys for coming.
We'll get it on track from our standpoint as well, so.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Ernell, I just want to, as y'all's point of contact, as soon as I get information, it goes out that day to y'all. Regrettably, under the new rules, there's such a small window to get that information to y'all.
Yeah, I'll,
That's limited, that information, but, I mean, if IP sends me, and, you know, Jesse and I have been in contact with one another, if they send me information well in advance of any job application that might be coming, that could be helpful to.
yeah,
guys.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
So
yeah,
the
I
first
agree.
time we hear of it shouldn't be from the official process, and so I think that's without going around that again.
I echo your frustrations as the
Yeah.
administrator for the police jury. Ernell knows, when we get that information, I try to get it out to them as quick as possible, but it's such a short window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the game, the rules of the game have changed, and so, you know, there's a lot of we'll say misconceptions, just flat out lack of understanding of the process and what it is versus what it's not, and if we don't approve, then what's the governor or the, you know, state's role in it? So I'm clearer than I used to be, which is, you know, better is good in my world. So we'll continue to try to grow our understanding and hopefully make fully informed decisions moving forward. So.
Let me ask you a question, one more question. Does Scott having something? You having
No, I'm
something?
good. Go ahead.
Okay. I see application 20250-504. What is that concerning? And also the other one, 202-505-09. What are those applications?
So the 0504, that application is what represents new equipment or improvements at the plant to improve efficiency and potentially improve some of the output as well. And there's a list of all the different projects in here, and the reason that we kind of list all that out is that LED will hold us to what's put in the application. So let's say that the company decides, oh, you know what, we want to do, a massive project over here that's not in this application. We can't just bake it in to this application. We are held to the specific items listed in this application. So if there was to be a separate project that popped up, we would have to come to you in a separate application for that project. But this project is about $147 million, and it's made up of a number of different proposed projects. AFEs is what they call the potential, and there was a number of them that we've included in here and listed them out. The other application is the one that is specifically for replacement. There's a roof, the boiler that has to, replacing the roof on the boiler, replacing some equipment that's no longer in production. It talks about there's a compressor that needs to be replacing, a drum, some screens and filters, a crane and a hoist over the wood yard, and replacing some of the drives in the DCS system. And those drives apparently are very expensive drives. And so this application represents the rehab and the modernization on those specific projects. That's about 62.7 million. And you'll see the calendar years. Some of those could happen this year. Majority will be in 26 and 27. So if we do have to come back, say it's not approved, if we do come back, any projects that started would be, we just redo these applications, we would take those out because we can't include them, and it would only include those projects that hadn't started at that time. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
Anyone else? You guys ever have any more questions for them?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, discuss and adopt a resolution for support or against application.
You
to-
skipped number 1.
Skip number 1?
Yeah, elect your
That's the most
officers.
important one.
I think you intentionally did that.
Doors open for nominees?
Yeah, I-
Nominations for the chairperson for
Yep.
ITEP committee.
I would like to nominate Mr. Ernell Jones as, what do we call that? Chairperson?
Chairman, yeah.
Commissioner? What? Chairperson?
Chairperson.
I make a motion that nominations cease and he be named by acclamation.
Squash it, here we go. You're
I
it.
thank you for that, for the confidence.
All right.
I don't know if it's gonna be a blessing or a curse. But thank you.
Are we going to have a vice chair?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all
Take a
you probably
nomination
should
for a
elect a
vice chair.
vice chair just in case another project comes up and have a backup. I would recommend that.
I'll nominate Mr. Corley.
Right. I second that.
I'll do that. I'm good at that and leading the silent prayer. I can do both of them.
Sheriff really missed a bullet on that one, didn't he?
Trying to take care of my
None
man.
of it.
Can I please just send an email out saying congratulations, Sheriff, you're the
Yeah.
chairperson?
We'll fix him up maybe next time. He's on vacation today. I'll let him be.
Now you're on number two,
Two.
Ernell.
Okay, number 2. Okay, discuss and adopt a resolution for support or against application 20250-504. Any discussion on, any more discussion on that?
I don't think so.
And for the committee's edification, I provided copies of the resolution, both a for and against, so y'all would have, you'll see the format that's, I mean, most of you are familiar with these types of resolutions, so whatever y'all adopt, we'll fill that out and the chairperson can sign that.
Should be the last couple pages on the packet.
So, Mr. Chairperson, I'm not sure how to proceed here. Obviously, I mentioned I'm going to be in opposition of both applications, so I would offer a motion to oppose the application, which creates an issue. How you vote means, does voting yes for that or no for that? And I don't know if we want.
Voting yes for that would oppose it.
True, okay. So just want to make clarification, and I'll offer that motion at this time to oppose the resolution or vote against the resolution for the ITEP exemption request 202-50504. Is that in order? Okay.
You got a second?
You got a second?
You got a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to oppose application 202-50504. Any discussion? Any more discussion on those?
Just to clarify, a vote yes for that would be to oppose, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, we're going to do vote,
Roll call vote's fine.
roll call vote. Okay, Mr. Scott?
I'll vote no.
No?
No,
You said a yes, no vote
Yes vote, a
I'm
yes
sorry.
vote is
Yeah.
for
that's correct, yes.
for your
the
motion.
denial, for the,
Yeah, for your
yes vote.
motion.
If you're voting no, that means you're going to be voting support. You're going to be supporting this.
Right,
I vote yes then.
yeah.
Man, I'm kind of torn. I'm gonna go and vote no for it. I'm gonna vote no. So it'll be 2 yes and a no, so it failed.
No,
No, it passes. It's majority.
Oh, they voted.
If they voted yes, you vote no. That's 2-1. The yeses have it.
So yes was against.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Correct.
All right, that's what I meant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. The item failed.
We're
That's-
working
that's what
on
I
it.
meant.
We're working on it.
Yeah, but the item failed.
If you're going to vote to approve, might be better that you offer the motion.
Okay, that included both motions?
No, that's just the first one.
Okay. Okay, discussion and adopt a resolution for support or against application 202-50509.
Well, it'll be
Motion.
consistent. I'll just be consistent. That way we're kind of clear on what we're doing now.
Okay.
So offer a motion to deny the application 202-50509 ITE for international paper.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to deny item 202-50509. Any more discussion on that? Okay. Roll call vote, Mr. Scott?
Vote yes.
Vote yes.
Yes.
Let's vote yes. I'll follow suit. I'm vote no. So your motion passes. Okay. Any other discussion before we adjourn?
I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn
I'll second.
and a second. Any opposed? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.